Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Morgan. Today, the Modern Customer Podcast heads to Salt Lake City, Utah for the annual X4 Qualtrics conference. I had a chance to sit down with the head of thought leadership for Qualtrics, and her name is Isabelle Zdatny. Isabelle helps large organizations design and operate successful experience management programs. She works on thought leadership, develops and delivers training. She consults with companies and focuses on key customer experience trends. She currently leads the XM Institute's research, and she also, prior to joining Qualtrics in 2018, she spent 5 years working at Temkin Group. And there she was doing research, consulting, and training. She is a graduate of Wellesley College. And in this episode, we're talking about Qualtrics' new report and their latest findings on the state of customer experience. Please enjoy Isabelle Zdatny. Isabelle, welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's so great to be here. And I love meeting other fellow customer experience advocates that have just been doing this a long time.
Yes, it feels like a long time. And it's interesting to see how much things have evolved, especially recently.
Yeah, it's such an exciting time to be in customer experience, especially because of AI. And you just worked really hard on this Qualtrics report that I had the opportunity to read with all this new research. So for our audience, can you just share some of the key highlights of what you found in that report?
Definitely. Yeah, so we kicked this report off maybe like 9 months ago. And the goal here was, AI has been dominating business discussion for the last few years now. But there's not a lot of concrete evidence behind the value it can bring for specific organizations. And so while a lot of companies generally recognize like AI will be transformative, they're a little bit hesitant to make the types of systematic changes and implementations that they're going to need to unlock the full value from these efforts. And so our goal in partnership with McKinsey was to put some hard numbers behind these specific benefits organizations can expect when they use AI to improve customers' experiences. And we know that's important because as part of our 2025 consumer trends, we found that customer loyalty is actually in decline. So customer relationships are both more valuable and more vulnerable than ever before. And one of our key findings was that 77% of executives believe that CX is either a significant or a critical priority for their organization. And another 72% believe that AI is going to fundamentally change their approach to customer experience within the next 3 years. So CX is important, and they see the opportunity AI presents for helping them to deliver on those strategic objectives.
Something that a lot of practitioners talk about is getting buy-in from their leadership team. And figuring out how to even calculate the ROI. I personally used to work at Intel in customer service, and I even way back when was trying to figure out, okay, what is the ROI? So what was the process with McKinsey to figure out what is the ROI of AI?
I love that. I should say too, I think one of the biggest opportunities that AI gives to us as CX professionals is helping us overcome that very specific limitation of being able to draw a direct connection between the experiences we're delivering and the business outcomes the rest of the organization cares about. As I was talking to companies, that was something that kept coming up, was it's easier to make the business case out doing the jujitsu around NPS of like, no, this actually drives consumer behaviors. So to build this report, we really used 3 main insights. So first of all, as I alluded to, we conducted a global executive study in Q4 of last year where we asked 1,500 global executives from large organizations headquartered in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and Germany about their expectations and their efforts around both CX and AI. So that was one piece of it. And then McKinsey did a very detailed value analysis where they sized the opportunity that AI presents across 19 different industries. And the way they did that was they looked at customer journeys, generic customer journey maps for each of those industries, worked with experts and companies to identify where the biggest pain points were across those journeys, and then identified specific AI solutions that they could then apply to close those pain points, talk to companies who had done that, what was the value and actual KPI movements that you saw, and then extrapolated that out. And their finding from that value sizing is that there is an estimated $860 billion and possibly all the way up to $1.3 trillion in annual value that could be driven by AI-enabled customer experience. And then the third source of insight was we interviewed some of our most innovative customers at Qualtrics to understand how they're using AI to better listen to, understand, and serve their customers.
Was there anything unexpected or counterintuitive that you learned from those customer interviews about AI?
I love that question. I think my favorite one was so when I talked to ServiceNow, who is a big B2B enterprise tech company, their head of AI and chief analytics officer told me that instead of waiting to get their full data house in order, which I think a lot of organizations are like, we can't start using AI until our data is all clean and connected, they just started applying AI models on top of the data that they had. And that allowed them to very quickly identify where there were gaps that they needed to either collect more data or bring in data. It helped them understand like what people were searching for, what the chatbots or whatever the AI solution was good at, what it was bad at. And so I think that one of the things I hear from companies is we're not ready for it because of our data. And their advice was, no, just go get started. Okay. In low risk situations.
Right. Yeah.
Not
so
in
you start small
ones.
and then you scale as you have more success.
Always. Yeah.
One of the examples I really liked yesterday from your presentation with McKinsey was talking about personalization. Victoria was talking about how she travels a lot. She's a partner at McKinsey. Yep. So wouldn't it be nice if Uber knew, like, I always travel to a specific airline at the airport. So like Uber should know like how far in advance to book it. And it's just creating better customer experiences by knowing the customer better, anticipating needs. How does AI do that?
Yeah, so I think if we look, especially in Victoria's example, so the way I categorize AI is there's kind of AI for CX emerged, I'd say, in 3 distinct waves. So the first one kicked off 2012, 15 years ago, thanks to some major breakthroughs in like natural language processing, speech recognition, computer vision. So very analytical AI, right? We can predict churn, we can do sentiment analysis. And then, of course, in late 2022, generative AI burst onto the scene with the release of ChatGPT. And now we have Agentic AI, which, unlike analytical and generative AI, which excel at certain tasks but still require human coordination, Agentic AI is able to independently orchestrate multiple capabilities across complex workflows all by themselves. And when you put all of those things together, you are able to make predictions and understand customers. You're able to generate new content and novel content that's personalized and tailored to them. And you have the agents on the back end who are able to go execute activities. And in Victoria's example of personalized travel, not only is it a chatbot just answering your questions, maybe talking to you in the tone of voice you like, but is actually able to go call an Uber for you if you like to arrive at the airport 2 hours and 5 minutes ahead of time. It's able to take that action piece. So I think those are all kind of braided together to help understand, engage with, and then deliver these types of hyper-personalized experiences.
So it seems to me one of the coolest parts of your job is that you get to talk to practitioners, you talk to brands, you understand where they're at, where they want to go. Yeah. And it does feel like we're in this mad dash for AI. So 100%. Where are brands, like where are they trying to get to as far as like what's that saying about the hockey puck? Like where they're trying to see where it's going. Like where are they sprinting toward right now with AI?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think there's a super focus right now on productivity and efficiency gains, which makes sense because I think there's an intuition of like, do what you already do, but faster and more efficient. There's a little bit of like a lack of imagination. And so I think Agentic AI is huge right now because people intuitively understand the value of having virtual employees that are able to execute these very complex workflows. So I think that's where a lot of companies are headed to this year. I would say longer term, I would encourage them to use their imagination a little bit more of like, now that we have these AI capabilities in place, how does it actually fundamentally change how you can create value for your customers, right? Like Henry Ford, I think it's apocryphal but famous quote of, if I would have asked the people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. So I wish more organizations were trying to think a little bit more creatively about, in this new landscape, how are we not just building faster horses, but, creating brand new products that are going to change people's lives.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges that you bring up is a lot
Yeah,
of practitioners, there's a lot of information coming at them
so
about
much.
AI. So where do they get started to get more creative?
Yeah. So I think a few things. I think number one, just using the tools out there. That was something I heard over and over from the people inside organizations who are standing up these programs is even an employee using AI poorly is still better than an employee who's not using it at all.
Okay.
I think, well, if people are familiar with him, Ethan Malik is a Wharton professor and AI researcher. He has a great newsletter called, I think, One Small Thing, Substack. That's a great source. Like if you're just looking to stay up to date on new kind of releases and things, I strongly recommend checking him out. But he describes it as a jagged frontier where AI is really good at some things, but then really bad at others. And if you don't play and explore and know how to use these tools, you're not going to know what it's good for, where it can automate tasks, where it can augment tasks, where you need to watch out. So I would encourage people to really just start using it. Again, like we said, start small.
Mm-hmm.
What's an outcome? What's a problem that you have struggled with? What are you trying to achieve? What's a metric you're trying to move? And then what's a possible AI solution you could bring in to help you achieve that more efficiently and economically?
So Qualtrics is mostly known for surveys, but
Yes.
there's a lot more to Qualtrics than
Yeah.
surveys. There's a lot of channels now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you could share with us that there's a misunderstanding about Qualtrics and the offering?
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, saying like we've been in this for a while, it's evolved a lot. And historically, just due mostly to technology constraints, that's how you listen to your customers was reactive periodic surveys. And as the technology has improved, and I think Qualtrics is at the forefront of that, you're able to ask questions more in moment. You're able to, now we have conversational surveys, which I will say are, I think, one of the coolest things. To give you a quick example from someone I interviewed. So conversational surveys use AI to ask follow-up questions in the moment. And so they started just beta testing it with customers who'd already left. So in their attrition survey, low risk. And usually everyone said that the reason that they left the company was either pricing, I believe, or poor service. There's not really a lot to do with that. And so usually they don't get a lot of great information from this. They applied the conversational survey, and the conversational survey was like, oh, bad service. That's unfortunate. Tell me more. What happened? And customers were saying, I was getting transferred a lot. I felt like people were lying to me and giving me the runaround. That's terrible. Tell me why you were transferred. And the AI was able to uncover a root cause of an issue that the company didn't even know about, which was that clients were having their funds withheld or double billed because of some like law enforcement reasons. And so the customer service representatives weren't allowed to tell clients that. So they were feeling like they were getting the runaround. And just by making some updates to the script, not going against any compliance things, but being a little bit more clear about what was happening, they were able to reduce customer churn. So yeah, surveys, fewer people are doing them. When people do complete surveys, you need to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck, maximizing their value. And so I think Qualtrics has used technology to not just listen better, but then also understand turning those data points into automated prescriptive insights, and then taking increasingly automated action based on that, like we heard today at X4 about closing the loop
Absolutely.
with customers. So yeah, letting you listen and get that more kind of personalized understanding and response at scale.
Agentic AI, we've heard about a lot this
So
week.
much, yes.
I mean, for our audience, is there a simple definition that you like to use when describing agentic AI?
I don't know if it's a definition, but like I tend to think of them as like automated project managers almost who are able to coordinate people and resources and tools, including other AI systems, in order to accomplish a specific task. I heard someone describe them almost as like AI bureaucrats, like they're kind of orchestrating and figuring out how to get a specific task done and tapping into what they need to execute actions.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a good soundbite.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the report, I mean, the most shocking thing was just the money that you can generate or save with good customer experience technology.
Yeah.
Is there one key finding that you think will blow the minds of our audience that they need to know about?
Oh, that's such a good question. So I would say the thing that was most shocking to me was while 89% of organizations had some AI initiatives underway, only 12% of executives said that they had coordinated AI strategy. And we found that when organizations do have a centralized ownership and strategy, they're 2.3 times more likely to be gaining market share. So just the importance of moving kind of past pilot purgatory, past just small scale experiments, and starting at an organizational level to make those systematic and systemic changes that you need to really get the value out of these systems, I thought was really interesting.
So a big thing with CX is organizational structure. Sometimes you have to change organizational structure to enable these things to happen. When you have this oversight, like who should be leading? Is it the CTO? Is it the CIO? What is it, a task force?
It's a great question, and it really depends on the organization. I would say almost everyone I talk to who I'd say are more mature on this almost co-opted existing governance structures. So of course, organizations deploy new technologies all the time. So often they'll have a centralized group with like legal and compliance and security and IT and business owners. And so now for AI, they'll bring in like someone with specific AI expertise, like a head of transformation, to form these groups. But often they're not starting them from scratch. They're kind of layering AI into systems and processes that are already in place. But yes, often I would say it's like CIO, CTO who's leading the infrastructure piece of it.
And do they have a task force, or are they educating regular employees on AI?
Yeah, it depends. I think many of them do have a task force. I think a lot of them have a central structure where employees from other parts of the organization will come ask for budget for AI solutions, or coming to them saying, hey, we have this opportunity in customer experience, like a conversational survey or whatever it is. Can you review the compliance? This vendor is already approved, gone through procurement process. And then they have guardrails in place, right? Risk and ethics principles to evaluate criteria. One of my favorites was ServiceNow has a central, they call it an AI control tower. That's a dashboard that they have 350, at least when I talk to them, it's honestly probably more than that now, different AI solutions in place across the company. And then this is a central dashboard that everyone can see. It has ownership, it has how much money it's saved, and employees can see, oh, I would like to use this solution. They can recommend more solutions. So it's been a very effective way for them to govern what can kind of be the Wild West of proliferating different AI.
And ServiceNow, they just acquired another company for I think $2 or $3 billion, another AI company. So they're clearly doing a big AI push.
They absolutely are. Yeah, it's central, and I do think that's going to be right. AI does create those compounding advantages, and they're very conscious of building things AI first. And trying to reevaluate a lot of their operations to make sure that AI is kind of integrated into how their operations look from the ground up.
This has been so interesting and a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed getting to know you at the conference this week. Let's get to know you a little bit with some rapid fire. Are you ready for some quick answers to some quick questions?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first, what is your favorite show or movie right now?
Oh, right now. So for the X4, I've been working so late. So my husband and I do like 20-minute comedies over dinner. And we work our way. My all-time favorite show is Arrested Development, but we've been doing it in an old British show called Peep Show. It's like David Mitchell, who's a famous comedian. It's really good.
Nice. Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
Favorite splurge?
That's a great question. I will spend bananas amounts of money with anything at Anthropologie, but I don't know that I have like a specific
Okay,
thing.
Anthropologie.
Anything Anthropologie, like juice glasses. Like
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal. My husband's a fantastic cook and does really good roast chicken and potatoes where he like salts it for 3 days and cooks the potatoes and the chicken fat. It's just comfort
Sounds
food.
delicious.
Yeah.
If you could have lunch with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, this is too much. I'm on a French Revolution kick right now, so I would just be like morbidly interested in having dinner with like Robespierre, probably.
Robespierre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was
He
just
led the
thinking
Reign of Terror.
Napoleon. That's the only. I'm not sure.
Napoleon would also be interesting, but I'm just like anthropologically, like I'm just very interested in his psychology.
Okay, life motto in a few words.
Oh my gosh, strong convictions loosely held.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, anything else we should ask about you? Something quirky?
I don't think so. Again, huge history nerd. That's what I love doing when I'm not writing about AI. Yeah, I think that's it. That's been my life recently. So I'm like, I don't think I've cultivated anything else interesting about my personality.
No, I love it. Well, thank you for doing
Yeah,
this.
thanks for having me.
Everybody, you've been tuning into the Modern Customer Podcast. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on social media, including Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and more.